France, once a dominant force in West Africa, now finds itself in decline. The loss of influence in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali has dealt a heavy blow to its global positioning.
France is getting ready to collapse, and nobody's talking about this. And this is not me just fear-mongering. No, look. Fears of French collapse sound the alarms. French stock slides as Paris government faces risk of collapse. Timestamp there. France may need an International Monetary Fund bailout. Reuters, French stocks, bonds tumble as government faces potential collapse. Market Watch talking about the collapse. So what exactly went wrong in France and what's going to happen next? We can see that the public debt hovers around 3.3 trillion euros, which is around 113% gross domestic product, which is the highest in recent history. The budget deficit also remains stubbornly high, projected at 5.4% of GDP in 2025, with warning signs of persistent weak fiscal discipline pushing it closer to 6% without significant intervention. Now, keep in mind, their goal for their budget deficit is 3%. They're double that, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get down to that 3% anytime soon. So they need an influx of cash desperately, and they may have to turn to the International Monetary Fund to help bail them out. Because once news got out about how bad it really is financially in France, investors immediately started selling off in the stock market and selling their bonds off too. Now, it's important to note that France is the second biggest economy in the European Union. So the fact that they're collapsing means this is going to send shockwaves through the entire European Union. So France really has to do something fast because this is not good for the EU at all. So what options does France really have right now? The first and most important thing that they absolutely have to do is create their own version of what the United States created in Doge. They've already stated that they're spending way too much money and they need to cut back on that wasteful spending. So creating a version of Doge will help cut in to that debt to GDP ratio that's been devastating for them. Next, and as sad as this may be, they may have to take this bailout from the IMF. Obviously, it's not ideal, but in order to keep the country going, you may have to do something like this, but time will tell if they actually do. The last thing they have to do is a confidence vote. Since all of this is happening, they have to decide if the current leader in France is fit to actually lead the country out of the current situation it's in. If the rest of the countries in the EU decide, no, he's not fit for the bill, he's going to get voted out and they're going to put somebody new in that can help with this problem. So France is on the risk of collapse, and it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with all of this. If you like...
For decades, France benefited economically from exploiting Africa's resources, but the tables are turning as African nations are reclaiming sovereignty. The question now is, can France truly survive without Africa's resources, or will it be forced to reinvent itself on fairer terms? And for Africans watching this, should we continue allowing foreign nations to dictate our economic direction, or is it finally time for total independence? Turning to Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu once promised that he would handle the economy while his vice president, Kashim Shettima, would manage insecurity. 2 years later, however, Nigerians are facing worsening inflation, a falling naira, and escalating insecurity across regions.
So, the greatest employer of labor, the greatest productive area in any economy I've studied is micro, small, medium enterprises. You can go and take a study from various countries, even in first world countries, talk less of third world countries. The countries that the people use as exemplary today, and I always go for the ones with big numbers, from China to India to Indonesia, all of them are their economy are all driven by this sector. In a country like Indonesia, almost over 90% of the businesses are in this sector. In terms of employment, they are creating over 70% of the employment. In China, over 60%. In terms of productive exports, everything, in China, over 60%. Indonesia, the same thing. Similar situation in Vietnam, These are countries that are doing very well today and are very productive and export geared. So I believe that you need to study, listen to this section, because they will propel what we want to achieve. And for me, the commitment is to pull people out of poverty that is measurable. What governments in Nigeria have not done in the past is to look at when they come in, where they're standing. For example, in 2012, our unemployment is about 10%, between 10 and 12%. Today it's at 35.
So, I mean,
our monetary poverty was 55 million, 33%. Today is about 40-something% at 95 million. Of course, our multidimensional poverty has then increased to 133 million. So these are things you need to say, if in 2023 a new government comes in, we need to draw a line. This is where we stand. And start implementing those things you think that can start reversing the situation and reducing something like our poverty, unemployment, inflation, in a more...
Citizens are asking, why are promises always louder than actions? If leaders fail to deliver on their own stated responsibilities, where does accountability begin? And should Nigerians continue waiting patiently, or is it time to demand new models of governance? Meanwhile, opposition leader Peter Obi has positioned himself as the alternative, pledging to pull Nigerians out of poverty if elected in 2027. His message resonates strongly with a population that feels increasingly neglected. But the real question is, can one man alone fix Nigeria's deeply entrenched system? Or do Nigerians themselves need to rise to the challenge of building institutions that outlive individual leaders? Would you personally trust Peter Obi to change Nigeria's direction, or are these promises simply a repeat of history? Adding to Nigeria's burden is the shocking revelation of yet another $1.75 billion World Bank loan, despite the government's boast of improved revenue.
hello, how you want to explain this one now? 2 days ago, Mr. President talk say they don't meet revenue target. Say they know they borrow from local banks again.
Today I'm standing before you, I can brag that Nigeria is not borrowing, it's dying from local bank. The revenue, we have met our target of revenue for the whole year. We met it in August. I've reviewed this morning. Non-oil. If non-oil revenue is going well, then we have no fear of whatever Trump is doing on the other side.
Now, Port is reporting LG seeks fresh 1.75 billion World Bank loan. The one where they set for this year, they don't meet am. Now, say, how manage? You thought say you don't meet revenue target. You won't come borrow fresh money again. On Thursday, the port gathered that the World Bank is expected to approve loan totaling $1.75 billion before the end of the year to support key development projects in Nigeria, according to official data obtained from the bank's official website. These loans will finance several key initiatives, including projects in agriculture, health, and digital infrastructure. One of the major projects set to benefit from this financial backing is the Nigeria Sustainable Agricultural Value Chains for Growth project, which will receive 500 million. This initiative is aimed at improving agricultural productivity and integrating value chains to support rural development and economic diversification. The project is currently in the concept review phase, with approval expected on December 11th, 2025. Go and read the remaining one by yourself. What are we saying? Mr. President say they had a target say from January to December, now this S amount of money with the target. By August, they don't get the money. The money wey they say they need to generate till December, by August, you don't meet up. It means say anything wey come from here, now plenty excess. But now, foreign bank, what is the difference? Oboro na boro. What do you think? Drop it in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share.
This contradiction raises serious concerns about transparency and fiscal management. Why borrow so heavily when revenue claims suggest progress? Where is this money truly going, and who will bear the weight of repayment? Should Nigerians continue to accept endless loans that mortgage the future, or is it time to demand real accountability from their leaders? In conclusion, Africa stands at a critical crossroads. France's collapse in West Africa shows that exploitation cannot last forever. Nigeria's leadership struggles reveal the depth of governance failures, and opposition promises highlight the hunger for change. But the destiny of nations will not be shaped by foreign powers or political speeches alone, it will be shaped by the will of the people. What kind of future are we, as Africans, ready to fight for? Stay tuned to AfriFreedomChannel for more fearless analysis and thought-provoking conversations. Until next time, remember, a nation rises only when its people rise with courage and conviction.